Salute, Nick family, and welcome to the Queen's Court. As you can tell, I am not home in my studio. I'm at the family's house, but I wanted to do this show. My mic is here somewhere in the house. I'm in here with toddlers. I don't know where my lavalier mic is. So please excuse me. I know the audio is not up to par, but again, I did not want to cancel the show. This is the Queen's Court. I'm your host, Stephanie English. We meet here every week around this time to talk about the last week's slate of games, any other narratives pertaining to the Knicks, and then the look ahead to well, actually this week's games. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so you'll be notified anytime we go live on this channel. That includes the Queen's Court, of course, pre-game, post-game by the creator of this channel, Simeon Russell, and then of course the controversy, the NBA report with Ron and John from Still Nick fans. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in my guest today. I'm joined by Eru from Die Hard Knicks podcast and Stafford Don, resident panelist on my channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, doing good. Good to see you. Good to see you. And audio is good. Everybody in the chat
Man.
saying the audio is good.
All right. Thank you guys. One thing I've learned is that people, if your video is a little blurry, people will stick with you a little bit. But if your audio is crap, nobody is trying to hang in there. So I'm glad that it's okay. Um, Listen, the Knicks entered this week since the last time, we did the Queen's Court. The Knicks was on a 7-game winning streak, right? They won one more game against Golden State and then proceeded to lose the next 3 games. A tough one in Toronto, um, against a desperate team who had lost 6 straight. Then to Chicago at Madison Square Garden on a last second shot by DeMar Rosen after we had beat them twice the week before. And then Christmas Day, the Philadelphia 76ers at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks looked great through 3 quarters. And then I don't know, the lights went out. That Con Edison bill wasn't paid, and like almost like a light switch, the Knicks couldn't score, and and the Knicks basically lost the game. But what is it? So this is a 1-3 week. The Knicks have 4 games. They won one. They lost 3. What stood out to you guys after you say how you doing? What stood out to you guys, player wise or team wise, this past week? And shout out to the chat.
Hold on. You want to hit a staff? I'm not sure if staff can hear us too good.
Yeah, he might not. Yeah,
There
he
you go.
dropped
Okay.
out. Stafford Don is having some internet issues, but he's trying to be here and rock with us as well. So he may be in and out.
Yeah. All right. So what's the question? How do I feel about the from the 8 to the
Yeah,
3?
about this week. Is there anything basically your overall impressions this week? And is there anything that stood out for you player wise or team wise?
Well, I thought the Knicks got a little bit too cute in the Toronto game, and I think they also got a little bit too cute in the Chicago game as well. So that's the thing. These are learning experiences where guys, well, we think we're winning. We got an 8-game winning streak. It kind of irked me how what's the name kept doing it, keep it rolling. That's like, sometimes you really not really. It's best not to say anything. Just keep playing, keep getting better, and that type of thing. So I think rolling into that Toronto game, that was like a trap game for us. That Chicago game, man, it is what it is. We kind of messed up. I wasn't as upset about the Chicago. I was upset, but that Toronto game, I'm still sick behind that Toronto game, man. It's almost ruined Christmas for me, man. And then of course Philly, we fought them all the way to the end, but I was afraid that if it got close, that the 2 stars would take over, and that's essentially what happened. So, I mean, it is what it is. We are what our record is. So it is what it is. I think we'll be fine. But we still need, in my opinion, I still think we need reinforcements. I still will always say that.
Yeah, yeah. Stafford, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What
Okay,
was the question? I'm sorry.
that's fine. Your impressions from the 1-3 week and anything that stood out for you player wise or team wise.
I mean, my impressions of the week was when we were winning, in my opinion, Deuce was playing it in my opinion, and I'm observer. Ob, my observation of the game, I see Deuce playing more than 15 minutes, and we had better perimeter defense for the last three games. His minutes has dwindled down to 9, 6, and I believe 5. You know, in order for us, in my opinion, in order for us to win in this league, especially if we don't have, as what Eru say, reinforcements on the bench, we need to play good defense and good perimeter defense, and that's how we were winning games. With those three guys out there, quickly, not Bronson, but quick Grimes and Deuce, and we were clamping down on offenses. And I think Tom Thibodeau kind of let go of the rope a little bit by not playing Deuce, you know, 15 minutes or better. And, you need to at least let him play out there for just a little longer. I know they're not producing as much offense, but they still get stops, 3 and 4 stops in a row in a sequence, majority of the time. And with RJ in the second unit and quickly, coming around, we could get a little offense. In the meantime, the starters get some rest and come back in. So, just by the 3-game losing streak, I just noticed Deuce minutes was it got reduced a little more. I don't know if
You
it's
think
because of the game.
in the game though?
I'm sorry.
You think that was the difference in these games?
Yeah, if you look at the winning streak and you look at the past 3 games, he was playing at least 14 minutes or better. And in the last 3 games, it's like 9 minutes, 6 minutes, 5 minutes, so our perimeter defense, 2 games, Chicago and Philly, they shot more than 40% from 3. And you can't win with they scoring like that. So I think the perimeter defense was kind of weakened a little bit by not letting them play some more. You know, um, but otherwise, I'm not going to jump out the window and panic. I still think we could ride the ship. Just some little more tweaks. It was never broken, so just let's just roll with it. And I just want him to just probably kind of stagger the minutes a little better, because I've been saying that, he might run down these guys a little more, playing like 40 plus minutes. So that's what I'm saying. Deuce need to play some more and let Brunson get some rest, So that's about it. And we got to make our free throws, man. We got to make our free throws.
Yeah, the free throws are
Got to
killing.
make our free
That,
Yes.
that last game with
Yeah,
6, it
that
was like Grimes and Brunson screwed us over, man.
Right.
Yeah, so we gotta make our free throws, man. Those are the next essential thing that gives us wins. You know what I mean? So, with that, if Brunson had made those free throws against Chicago, we would have won that game.
Absolutely.
And so we just got some things to tweak, man, and I think we could go 3-0 on this Texas trip coming up. I know we're gonna talk about that coming up, but that's what was my observations for the past 3 losses with New
Yeah.
York.
If I could double down on what he was saying about
Yes.
what Tibbs,
Mhm.
Tibbs gets caught watching. So he's watching the game. He got the main guys in there. But if he would have just put, it's called a timeout, put Deuce in there a little longer just to give the guys a break, because there's like a stress, there's like a stress happening out there, and he makes the guys fight through the stress. And I think that's like the wrong idea for this group, because we don't have a superstar that has their own energy where they can slow it down themselves and take over the game. We don't have guys like that. So you need that break within the flow. Have another look in there, have another point guard in there, just to take away, just to do the dirty work for a little while, just to give guys a break, because guys are working too
Yeah,
hard on offense and defense. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think what stood out for me in these three games is that the Knicks are a good team. I just really believe that this is a good team. You look at that Toronto game, the Knicks were this was a back-to-back game for the Knicks. They were playing a desperate team, and they was still right there with an opportunity to win that game. Was that the missed free throw? No, that was the Siakam 52 point game. But not but 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 not only that, they tried to take Brunson out the game, and they did a good job double teaming him, crowding him, and what have you, basically trying to cut off the head of the snake and put the game in RJ and Randall's hand. And those guys scored 30 points. The Knicks was right there with an opportunity to win that game. Same thing in Chicago. The Chicago. Listen, I'm not gonna say that the Knicks are not top five. The top five in the Eastern Conference is solidified. But when you go 6 through 12, any one of those teams can finish anywhere in or out of the play-in. I'm not counting out Washington. I'm not counting out Chicago. Things can change at the drop of a dime. The Knicks can be six now, and they could be 10 in 2 more weeks. But what I am saying is the Knicks are right there, in my opinion, with the rest of those guys. Um, but but you have to close out games. Like this to me, this is not like 2 years ago when the Knicks was maxing out their talent and you was getting everything you can get out of those guys and you can't ask for anything more. That's not what's happening here. The Knicks missed 4 free throws down the stretch. Was that the Chicago game?
yes.
yeah,
4 free throws. We're having a different conversation if the Knicks hit those free throws. We're having a different conversation today. So for me, I'm not jumping off the cliff. I'm not overreacting. My views on the Knicks have not changed, and I think that's my next question for you guys as I finish this up. Has your views on the Knicks overall changed after this three-game losing streak? To me, it hasn't. Coming into the season, I had the Knicks at 40, 41 games, right? I felt if certain things broke right in terms of defense, chemistry, certain players taking another step, the Knicks can win 45, 46 games. However, I also saw a path for them to finish out of the play-in if certain things didn't break right. None of that has changed for me with this three-game losing streak. Like I'm not down on the Knicks. I don't feel like we're a terrible team. You got to hit free throws. That's just the bottom line. You cannot have those brain farts with a minute and six left. Grimes missed two, 6 seconds left. Brunson missed. Like it is just unacceptable to not close out a game like that. The Knicks win that game. We're having a different discussion. Philly, the Knicks lost to a better team. The Knicks was right there, but at the end of the day, the Knicks don't have an Embiid and the Knicks don't have a Harden that they can go to down the stretch. So the Knicks have to be near perfect to close the game, right? And it shows you're talented enough to hang with these guys and to hang around with these upper echelon teams. However, at the end of the day, in order to win those games, more often than not, you're going to have players just as good as they do, and we're not. So I'm not down on the Knicks with this three-game losing streak. There's nothing about what happened that made me feel like this is a terrible team. We're a top 10 offense and top 10 defensive team, and this is a big enough sample size. So anyway, the question to you guys, and I'll get to the chat after that. Anything that happened over this three-game losing streak that made you change your thoughts about what the Knicks can be this season?
Well, I hit you first, Steph. That Toronto game, you saw the reaction. I made like a little
Yeah. Oh my! I
yeah,
wish I would have loaded that up. I wish
I
I
mean
would have
the
loaded
whole the whole segment, man, the whole fourth quarter, I was going crazy, man, because I wasn't going crazy because I was mad at them how they were playing. I was so hyped up because I believed in them. That so that's the change. In the beginning, like I wanted to bench RJ. I was like, we need to do this, maybe tweak stuff. I was looking for something a little bit more stronger to do to crack this team up or whatever. But now after the 8 game winning streak and stuff like that, you're just watching certain things and how we're able to do stuff. So I believe in what RJ can do, get into the basket. I believe what Julius can do. He's starting to find his sweet spots in the court. So that I'm
Yes.
appreciating that now. So back to RJ. RJ's getting into the paint anytime he wants to, but now he's converting those shots. And if he's not converting it, at least he's putting the ball in play where someone else can make a play, like Mitchell Robinson or somebody else coming in and make a play. So we're playing positive. And then of course Brunson is doing his thing. But Brunson is getting destroyed out there, man. He's like sacrificing his body. He's been hurt for weeks, and the guy's still out there. He's still able to get his points and stuff. But you can see that especially like the last game, I think he popped his hip or something like that, or maybe hit like a I'm thinking it might have been like a disc. I think he might have blew a disc in his back or something.
Mhm.
Hopefully that's not the case, but he's like a warrior out there. So I just really, really believe in these guys. And what, like some of the people saying in the chat too, and then a lot of people out there, like my thing is not necessarily making a big trade to bring a superstar in there because there is not. But I keep saying that like we need to get just one more guy in here just to get into the mix. Not because anybody on this team is doing bad or anything like that. It's just I believe in this group so much that I think they need that extra help because they deserve it. They deserve that extra help because these guys are playing so hard. And I get to like because like shout out to State. Me and State used to be there, saying all kind of stuff, about the team because that's all we could talk about. But these guys are playing so hard and so well every single night that now I'm talking a different story. I'm like I'm right behind them again. I'm talking basketball. My spirit is real high for these guys. So it would break my heart for us. Just like the Giants. Like what you want the Giants to get a wide receiver. Shout out to
Right.
Jarrell's in the chat right there.
Right.
Like
Right.
get a wide receiver to help these guys because they're playing so hard. So it would break my heart for us to go past the trade deadline if we don't get anybody in here to help this group out because they deserve it. I think they really do deserve it.
Yeah, and I think I hear some people in the chat. A shout out to Almighty Finesse and said, "How are we a good team?" And I'm with Eru. I really believe in this group. I really believe in this group. I love the way Randall is playing. I love where he's taking his shots. I've always said, at least this season, he can park down some of those 3 pointers, but he's hitting them at a really decent clip. So I can't really complain. RJ is playing well. Brunson, I have to believe he's a little hurt because it's hard for me to believe that this limp is bothering him. He's been dealing with limp all his entire career. And I've seen him play well against bigger players. I've seen him post up Mikal Bridges and shoot over the top of him. So he may not be, he may not be 100%. But to your point, Eru, you surround those 3 players because they're ball dominant. You surround them with two-way players that can shoot the three and play defense. This is a some more Grimes around them. That's what I like Grimes. He fits very well with them because he doesn't demand the ball. He can play off of those guys, right? We have another 1 or 2 players that can hit the three-pointer, play good defense. This is a different team. So I agree with you. They need some reinforcements. Listen, I don't have anything against McBride. I don't have anything against Sims. I don't have anything against those guys. Those guys play hard. And in the if they get 8 minutes, if they get 10 minutes, obviously you can't quantify what they bring as far as their perimeter defense. But sometimes you look at the stat. Ihart played 12 minutes. He got 7 rebounds. This guy played I don't know how many minutes, but you could even see statistically the impact that they're having in the short minutes, that the small minutes that they're getting. That being said, I'm all for improving the team. I just don't want to bring in old injured guys. You know what I mean? I want to bring in younger players that kind of fit with this group that's defensive minded. Because on this team, we got players, they either good on offense, Fournier, though he struggled at the beginning of the season, not great on defense. Or you got a McBride or Sims who are just dogs on defense, but you're not going to get much offensively from them, even though McBride is coming around. Just really wanting some two-way players to add to this bunch. Stafford, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, and I have to agree with both of y'all. You know what I mean? It is a good team. We just need that one help on the bench. And you just said it. We need a two-way player. So if you could get that, whether he be a veteran, a young player, we just need him to come in and play his role, keep the morale of the team up. You know what I mean? Play defense and shoot the three when we need it. You know, so if we could get that extra scoring punch on the defense, I mean on the second on the bench, I believe that's the reinforcements right there. Now people may say, "Oh well, we got Cam and we got Fournier and we got Derrick Rose," but we got to get it out of our head that these guys is going to get traded and they not going to play anymore. So, we got to try and find someone to bring in to help that bench because by bringing in RJ on the second unit, having staggering playing a lot of minutes, and then we got Julius playing a lot of minutes, and then we got Brunson playing a lot of minutes. It's going to weigh them down, and we need them fresh just in case if we do make a run and have the 6 seed or wherever we place in a playoff setting. We're going to need these guys to be fresh. So I believe we're a good team. Nothing has changed for me. I always believed in this team from day one. Y'all could go back and check the record, and you know, I just think we need that 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 scoring punch on the second unit. Whether it be Obi when he come back, who knows? Quickly is inconsistent. And RJ can't do it on the second unit by himself all the time. So we need somebody to come in and be that scorer on the second unit for us. Because even though those guys are playing good defense on the bench, the second unit that comes in, we still need some type of offense. And as I said, RJ,
Right.
he's not gonna do it all the time. And they don't run plays for Hartenstein like that. So yeah, so we need help, man. We need help.
Yeah. I mean, to your point though, I do think that we can utilize Hartenstein a little more than we're utilizing him, offensively, just in terms of his playmaking and things like that. But I'm gonna take that back. In terms of a two-way player, I think it's okay if that guy is a veteran. I mean, the average age of this team is 25. And if we talk about the average age of those that are in the rotation, it's probably less than that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with bringing in a veteran. To me, as long as he's a two-way player, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's not like this guy is going to come in and play 40 minutes or 30, or 30 or 35 minutes, and he may not even be part of the core or the rotation going forward. Um, but yeah, I definitely agree with that. Let me just check in with the chat. Reppin' old school, appreciate you. Said we're two players away. Now, when you say two players, repping old school, do you mean two minor pieces, or you're talking about two star like players?
Well, to add to his comment at 9:05, he did say that. He said, fans are looking for superstars. We just need two guys.
Two
So
guys.
yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right. All right. There we go. JJ, appreciate you always rocking with us. Happy holidays to you and yours. Yeah, close games. Whoever has the stars are likely going to win. Yes. And he also said bench has to be upgraded a bit, not enough scoring off the bench. I mean, Quickly has been playing well for us this past week, but is he just visiting? or is he going to live here, right? Which is the same thing I said when Randall started playing much better and RJ started playing much better. Are they visiting, or are they going to live here? So it remains to be seen um, with quickly. Lonnie Meeks, free throws are missed when you are exhausted. JB is an 80% um, free throw shooter. How do you guys feel about that? I do get, I mean, and I get it. I get it. If you're tired, you don't have the legs, you're more apt to miss free throws. I mean, I get it, but I don't know. I don't know how many minutes he played. Like 30. It's not like if he and Randall and RJ are playing these mega minutes. I don't think Brunson is. Brunson is playing like what 34, 35, minutes a game. I don't think he's playing RJ type minutes. So I don't know about that one. Stafford, you were gonna say something?
It's all mental, man. I don't think it has nothing to do with tiredness, yo. It's all mental. You go up there, you know what you need to do, you get it done. It's all in the head, and you can't let nobody come and distract your mind from you getting the job done. And I don't know if that was the case, but he missed the free throws. But
DeRozan
it's
was talking
all
to him.
mental. I don't
You
think
saw
it's
DeRozan talking to
tiredness.
him?
I don't think it's tired.
I saw DeRozan talking.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So DeRozan was talking to him, but
yeah.
I think it's more it's a stress factor because I mean, like somebody said, he shoots like 87% from the free throw. So and plus he's a monster. He's like when he's on, Brunson is crazy. So I don't think it's something going on. He's got to be hurt or just sometimes like let's say if you're trying to push through something and you just don't got it, and then you got somebody tripping in your head saying you don't got it. Now you confirm what you got in your mind.
Right.
So then that plays into a factor too. So it is what it is
Yeah.
now.
Pudge Nice need a legit backup for Randall. Let's talk about that, for a little bit. Obi is out right now. Um, I'm not sure when he's scheduled to come back. I think I heard something like early January, but I don't think there's a definitive return date for him. But the team has changed some since he's left. I think we're much more, I think we were always defensive minded, but I think since he's left, we've been executing much better on the defensive end. Um, when Obi comes back, he's not a strong defender. That being said, he did provide some offense for us. I think he was averaging 10 or 11 points, something like that. And we kind of need some punch in that second unit, but it may come at the expense of defense. What are your thoughts on Obi Toppin returning to his role when he does get back?
I'll throw it out there. I love what Jericho Sims is doing. Jericho Sims, the last game, he got caught playing defense. He got caught playing defense against Harden a couple times. He actually slapped the ball out of his hands a couple times. You know what I'm saying? So he's as a big man, he's able to get out there and defend because everyone keeps talking about Mitch Robinson, who I absolutely cannot stand. But I always got to say that at least once. You know what I'm saying? But I really like the physicality that Jericho's bringing. So I wish we can combine some of these players. Like I wish I can combine Obi with Cam, or maybe put some Obi with Jericho. I wish we could combine some players, because then that would just make things so much better. Because I love the physicality that Jericho brings, but if he could score a little bit, then it would make because everybody can't get the rebound and look for Julius, looking for somebody else to get the ball. Sometimes you got to get the ball and be able to do something with it. So I think that's the issue there, especially the back, And I just don't believe in Obi. I think Obi's a 3. He's not a power forward. So I don't believe in him as a power forward.
I don't believe in him as a 3 on defense.
Yeah.
And offensive, I mean, listen, if you're a 3, you got to be able to put the ball on the floor. You got to be, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't believe him at all. Not no 3 or 4.
Yeah, yeah. Um, this is a tough spot for the Knicks because I agree that we need to open up this rotation. Guys may be wearing down, but because you want to be fresh when the playoffs come. That being said, depending on who you open in the rotation for, if you start losing, there will be no playoffs. Forget being fresh for the playoffs. You might not even make it. I mean, if you think about where we were prior to shortening this rotation, we didn't look like a playoff team.
Yeah.
We didn't look like a playoff team. So if the difference is getting there and being a bit burnt out and not getting there at all, I guess we'll take getting there, a little burnt out. But that being said, I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think we've solidified ourselves defensively a little bit, though these past few games, some pockets of perimeter defense hasn't been that great. Well, let me ask you, do you think we can absorb? Do you think our defense is rolling on such a level, we're number 9 right now, that you can absorb a poor defender or not so great defender and hide them a little bit, whether that be Obi Toppin, whether that be Fournier that returns to the rotation, whether that be somebody who tries, but they just physically can't do it.
What do you think, Steph?
I mean, yeah, in a way, if you want to put back, like you just mentioned him, Fournier, if you want to put him back in that lineup, you put him around. I heard someone say earlier, and I agreed with them. You put him in around some defenders, and you run some plays, and you get him going, make him scores a low three, stagger, bring him in for like 9 minutes or something like that. It could happen, for somebody like Fournier. But I mean, I, as I said, it all depends on the defenders, you know, to hide that person for at least 9 minutes, because he's bad on defense. But you got to get him rolling and run some plays for him, so he could at least be effective in the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Fournier, if you bring him in, then you have to feature him, because if he's just sitting there in the corner, then why even use him? You have to utilize what he brings to the table. He doesn't bring enough just being a shooter, because he can't play defense. So you have to get him in there, utilizing him in different ways to make someone else be the 3-and-D guy. So what I'm trying to say. You got to figure, it's game planning. You got to figure out a way to get guys in. But at this point, I just think those guys are just done. We really got to move on from them.
Yeah.
Where I see Eddie C. He mentioned Jordan Clarkson. A team like Utah, even though they're winning a little bit, I'm not sure what's going on with them now. They're in the 7th spot right now, so I mean they're kind of like floundering. So they might be looking for a boost, or maybe a loose, because they have a lot of guards over there. So maybe we can squeeze one away from them. If we give them Cam Reddish or something like that. There's so many different moves that we can do if we really look and be creative. So I just think the Knicks need to do that. Because I think right now, just the way that we're playing, I always say on when I'm doing a watch along, that as long as if the Knicks instill their will on the other team, that we have a shot at winning. Because we're not going to be so clean offensively, where we're just going to run them down offensively. We're just not that type of team. We are grindhouse on offense and defense. But if we can double down on that and get somebody else in there just to keep the identity going. Because we can't get another Walker and another Fournier here, because that's just not it.
No, that's not going to work.
So we have to get a grindhouse guy. Cam Reddish, I wish he would be, but he just doesn't have the motor for it. We all want him to be that guy, because essentially he is that guy. He is the guy that we're asking for, but he just don't have it. He just don't have it consistently on a day-in-day basis, man. So
yeah. I mean, what I would say about Clarkson is I don't think the Knicks need. I mean, we need more offense on the second team, but I don't. I'm on the second team, but I don't think. To me, I don't want anybody that doesn't play defense on this team. Like we went that route before. We went that route before. You got to be able to play defense if you want to be a New York Knick. I think we just have to get to the point where this is who we are. This is our culture, and if you want to play here, this is the type of player that you need to be. We're 9th in offense. And some of that was because of how well we were playing, in the beginning of the season. But even if you take the last 11 games, the 8-game win streak, the 3-game losing streak, our offense has dipped a little, but I don't think it's dipped to the point where we need to just go get an offensive-minded player who's not committed on the defensive end. Now, If it's a player that has the tools to play defense, they just haven't played it, then I'm okay with that. Because once you get to a team that's playing defense and the coaching staff is holding you accountable, you're going to play defense. So if that's the case, if Jordan Clarkson has the ability to play defense, that's fine. But you're going to have Clarkson and IQ.
Yeah, that's the issue. It log jams the guards a little bit too much. Yeah, the problem definitely is the backup behind. Like I can't think, I'm looking for the person now, but we just need a guy that not gonna score 20, that type of thing. We just need a guy, if he gets the ball, he can instead of looking like where's Julius or where's RJ, you know what I'm saying? He can get the rebound, look, and then just make a move and just do something. We just need somebody to be what is it? What's the word? Just to be reliable on offense, for
Right.
just not be a cone. He just like standing out there, just being an X and O. You have to be involved in the game, both ends. So
Right.
that's my wish right there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jeff Clafter, appreciate you. Um, he said we had 30 assists against Philly. Definitely moving up. That game was a game where you needed a closer. And I really think our chances would have been better if Brunson wasn't hurt. In my opinion, and I know you guys may disagree with me. In my opinion, Brunson is a budding star, in my opinion. And a star for me is somebody that you can go to when you need a basket, and everybody knows you're going to that guy, and he still gets the basket or makes the play. That's a star for me. And I think Brunson is well on his way to being that for us. Now, can he be a number one? I don't think so, but can he be a 1A? Possibly. I'm really, really high on Brunson. I know people talk about him being 6 feet and his defense and and what have you. I'm all in on Jalen Brunson when he's healthy.
I want to throw this at you. The Knicks had 90 shot attempts in the last game compared to 77 with Philly. That's crazy.
Right.
And we still lost the game. But I mean, 90 field goals to 77. That pace was way up with the Knicks on the last game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Queen, to your point about Brunson, I think I seen a stat where he's number 5 in fourth quarter clutch points.
Right.
So that just says it all right there. When you need somebody to go to in the fourth quarter, he's that guy.
Right.
Right. So,
right.
And I think also I heard someone say Obi might be ready on a podcast on Thursday against San Antonio.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I mean, listen, he's been sitting there, he's been watching, so his energy is always there. It just needs to be a focused energy that you're energized in the right places, doing the right things. I don't think it matters, Pudge Nice. Our point guard don't need to be closing games. I don't think it matters. Who it is. We crushed him on the glass. And this is the thing with Mitch. Everybody is saying, oh, the reason why Mitch doesn't get rebounds is because he's all out on the perimeter playing such and such and such. Last night he had 16 rebounds. So I don't want to hear the whole he can't get rebounds because of where he's positioned on the court. 10 points, 16 rebounds, 3 block shots. And this is the stuff when you see Mitch do that, you be like, oh, if this is Mitch every day, the Knicks are a different team. And I'm not trying to discredit what he does bring to us. He is a monster on the offensive boards, getting us those second chance opportunities. Knicks top 5, I believe, in second chance points. But he could just have a bigger impact on the game. Put it that way. He can have an even bigger impact on the game.
Yeah, when I talk about Mitch, I talk about just the way he needs to be an enforcer. He's not an enforcer. That drives me crazy for somebody like that. Like I just look at Steve Adams. I'm looking at the Grizzlies. because I'm looking at a whole bunch of stats while you're talking and stuff. But Steve Adams, he doesn't really do nothing so crazy. The last game he had 6 points. He also had 14 rebounds in 21 minutes. But the difference between like say a Mitch and Steven Jackson is Steven Jackson stands up strong. He's in the mix of everything. If Ja Morant gets into an argument or Dylan Brooks gets into an argument, he's standing right there. If guys are getting into it, he grabs his guy and gets him out the way. You know, those are just enforcer things that I just wish that Mitchell Robinson could do. And he just Mhm.
But Eru, if you check out his personality, that's not him.
Yeah, he's a goofy guy, man. You see him on TikTok and
That's,
stuff, man.
that's not him. So you trying to force that on him? It's not gonna work. That's just not his personality.
Man, where's
Sorry
my
to
belt?
say, you know what
Where's
I
my
mean.
belt, man?
I feel where you coming from,
I need to get
but
my belt on him.
that's
You know what
not
I'm
him at
saying?
all.
He needs to get a spanking. He's too silly for me, man. You know. But I love what he
Well,
brings, though. Sometimes you know what he brings, and he's got it. You know, it's definitely something positive for us.
no doubt, no doubt. These last couple of losses is because our starters was gassed out. Our bench needs to step up or get more men. I don't even know if getting more men. I mean, how much more you're gonna get out of Jericho Sims? You're gonna get some more rebounds. You're gonna get some more defense, and that's the thing. Like I said earlier with the Knicks, we either got offensive players that are not really good defensively, and they've fallen out of the rotation. And I think Cam is good defensively, but it's just not there all the time, and his leash is much shorter than everyone than the other players on the Knicks. He just doesn't have Tom Thibodeau's trust. Or we got these defensive juggernauts that's not giving you much on the offensive end. And like to Evil's point, I wish we can merge,
Yeah.
merge some of these players. Um, iHeart and Sims, the height, the offensive rebounds, the passing ability, with Sims, stellar pick and roll defense. But listen, the Knicks are looking. The Knicks are looking. Um, I think he is. I mean, you can say what you want to say about um iHeart, but in terms of those second chance points and giving us second chance opportunities and being on those boards, he'll play 10 minutes, have 7 rebounds, or 12 minutes, have 7 rebounds. It depends on what you value. You know, Obi's not you could talk about him being a bad defender. I don't think Obi's a better defender. He's definitely a better rebounder. So, and the thing about iHeart, he gets in position. He's in position between his guy and the basket. They just score anyway. but he's right where he's supposed to be. They just score anyway.
Well,
Um,
a lot
I,
of times with the bench too,
I,
he's sitting by
I wish,
himself getting beat up. Guess that.
but I wish Tom Thibodeau would run some offense through him, like a little couple corner 3-point shots for him, little push shots in the center of the key for him. You know what I mean? Get him going too like that. You know what I mean? Cause we need some more offense on the second unit.
mhm.
And I really feel like we could. You mentioned it earlier too, Queen. I really feel like we're not using him in his skill set that he's more capable of, man. Because I know he could shoot the three. Give him a couple shots. Give him at least 3-4 shots in the game. You know what I mean? Give him some push shots in the middle. Not every time you gotta be down and dirty and getting the rebound and putting it up. Give him some opportunities too, Tibbs. These are the things sometimes that drive me crazy with Tibbs too, man. You know what I mean? I like him as a coach. I think he brings good culture. But, sometimes I feel like you're not using the guys that you have out there to the best of their ability, man. And I think that's one of the gripes on him some of the fans have on him too. He's not using them properly, man. Because I feel I have to give us more.
Even in
He's
terms
not.
of the playmaking as well.
Yeah,
Even in
I mean,
terms
he's
of
not.
the
He's
playmaking
not
and creating shots for others.
offensively. Yeah, he's not offensively talented like that, but give him some opportunities.
Well, Staff, you made the point too that about the minutes coming off the bench. McBride only has 6 minutes. off the bench. Jericho Sims only had 12. Ihart only had 15. Quickly played okay, but he only had 22. But then why we got Julius playing 40? Why we got Quentin
That
Grimes
is,
getting 40 minutes? The Brunson
that's
getting
what I'm
35.
telling you. That's
Well,
what
I
I'm
can tell
telling
you
you.
why,
Look at the
because there
last
are
three
better
games. It's
players.
still crazy.
Listen. If you're trying to win the game, the Knicks need reinforcements.
Yeah,
Let's just put it that way. They're playing 40 minutes because they're our best players. And that
right.
when you take them out of the game and you replace them with offensively challenged players, you run the risk of not necessarily losing the game, but losing your lead, falling behind, and what have you. So the Knicks need reinforcements. They need
But
players that when they
Queen,
go to, yes.
but when we was winning, that was the formula.
Right.
When we were winning, that was the formula.
Yeah, RJ
So
had
why go,
43
why
also.
go away? Why go away from the formula? If the defense was carrying us through the 8 games, why force your best players to play over 44 minutes and have them tired down at the end of the stretch? Because when we play the second unit and it's a defensive unit, that's how we get fast breaks and easy points and second chance points.
Yeah, and
So
also
that's
check
what I'm
out.
saying.
But
You
Philly is a
went
tougher team,
you
though.
went
So the
away from
formula
the
has to
formula.
change, though. I
Well,
hear what you're saying, especially when the Chicago and the Toronto game, but I can see it changing in the Philly game because they're just a better offensive and defensive team with go-to players, and you do run the risk of falling behind.
that's
But
true.
prior to that, like in the Chicago game, I get it.
Well, the Toronto game, we were without Grimes, so we were without Grimes, and he had to call Rose, and now Rose is like, "What am I doing out here?" And then but meanwhile, we got other guys on the roster that, like I said, times like this, when guys do get hurt, that I wish that Grimes was getting more. I mean, not Grimes, that McBride was getting a little bit more minutes, because then if Grimes can't play, at least we know that he can take care of the, handle the minutes. That's the only thing. I don't know, man. I mean, 43 minutes for RJ. I mean, he could have, out of all these guys, they could have shaved off at least 10, 15 minutes out of those guys. Just in certain key points of the game where Tom Thibodeau was just staring at the game and letting things happen. A lot of times he can, just take the stress off of the guys. Because a lot of times there'd be a lot of high stress moments where the Knicks are searching. Sometimes maybe you need to pull a guy out so you could look at the game from the bench for 2 minutes and then bring him back in if you're gonna do it like that. That's what I think. But like you said, we need reinforcements, but sometimes you can game manage a little bit better where you can just take the stress off the guys at times.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I do think we should expand the rotation. It's just who you expanding it with.
Right,
I think that's what it comes down to, and who we expanding it with may not even be on the team.
right.
May not even be. Some people are calling for Jay Crowder. Somebody else said, Jay Crowder hasn't played um, all season. Um,
I
Kai,
want Kuzma to tell you. I want Kuzma.
yeah, oh, we can
Yeah,
talk about that a little bit before we move to the next segment. Kaiser Souza 718. Our defense has been looking good, catching teams with their blessed players out. I'm not convinced. Nah, I'm convinced with the Knicks defense. However, you got to be consistent with it. When we played, was it the Chicago game? That looked like the defense prior to us going on our run. Everybody was open. It seemed like you just passed the ball one or two times, somebody was open for a three, and they were hitting them um, as well. But like I said, nothing has changed for me um, as far as how I feel about the Knicks with the 3 game losing streak. Repping old school said Kuzma lacks on defense. I guess the question I have for you, Ero, is where would you play him? He's having a breakout season right now. He plays the 4 position. You got Randle playing the 4 position. I don't think you bring him in just to soak up those few little minutes behind Randle. I think he would need to have a bigger role on this team.
well, that's the key with all this is that like we were saying with the last game, uh RJ had 43, Randall had 40. You know what I'm saying? That's already like what like 15 minutes right there. You know, and then you got a couple other minutes. The guys that off the bench were getting. So Kuzma can get all those minutes. He can get damn near 30 minutes still. You know, last night Kuzma had 32, so he's showing his behind out there. He's a good player, but when it comes down to you know, just winning, because like we're not gonna have a star. We're not getting any stars. So I mean, get another guy in there that when we call him in, he can score. You know, and it's not gonna. It's like we're never gonna be without scoring, in my opinion. So like the times where Julius Randle is pressing and we can't find a bucket, take him out and then put Kuzma in there. You know what I'm saying? If RJ can't buy a bucket, take him out and put Kuzma in there. You know what I'm saying? Just you know, and then the same thing with the backcourt rotation. If Grimes can't make a shot, put or just slide RJ to the two for the time being. If you need the size, whatever, it just
Right.
gives you that
More
extra
flexibility.
stuff out there.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I'm not high on Kuzma, but I wasn't high on Crowder as well. So just listening to you guys, kind of warmed me up to the idea. Let me go to this comment by Sherwin because there's something in here I want to ask you guys about before I move on to talking about the next segment where I'm talking about RJ Barrett. Cam should be put back in the rotation. Deuce should be sent to the G League to work on his point guard skills. Sim should be the backup five, and iHeart the backup four. We need a backup point or backup point guard. So the two things I want to talk about in here is whether who's the four, who's the five. Just your thoughts on the pairing of iHeart and Sims together. What's been your thoughts on them together? They I think they played. mm, I know early on. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it like that.
What do you think, Steph?
They've been a beast because when teams try to go small with us, I mean, Sims and I have punched them on the boards. So I don't see it as an issue. I like Sims at the five. I like I had at the four. I mean, yeah, I had at the four. Just in case, he could be a stretch and shoot the three, and and Sims could stay right in there to get the rebound. So I like that pairing. I don't see anything wrong with that pairing. It's just lack of offense. On that second unit. That's all that is. Because IQ is very inconsistent. 1 minute he might have 20 here, 20 tomorrow, 20 the next day, and then he goes in a slump. So um, I like the pairing. When teams try to go small, we punish them with both of those guys. And get our advantage on the rebounds with second chance points. So I see it as an advantage. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I see the other teams. They don't like playing against those guys. Because I heart for his the stuff that he doesn't do, that we would like him to do that he doesn't do out there. He is physical. Same thing with Jericho. Jericho's kind of behind play sometimes. He's not confident yet. He's just not ready yet. But nobody wants to bang with him. Nobody wants to fight him down there. Nobody wants to chase him. Nobody wants to have, oh snap, he's coming over my head. Nobody wants to deal with that. What I'm saying? So I like that about them, but neither one of those guys are, it can be relied consistently for offense. So I mean, so in that situation, like for those asking about the Kuzma thing, like if Kuzma was in that spot, then Kuzma can score. That he can get the job done, scoring wise. So and then
That's a good point. That there's minutes for him. That's a good point. And the other thing is about needing a backup point guard. Do you think? I mean, I'm gonna answer this first about needing a backup point guard. What are the Knicks trying to do? Right? Whatever they're trying to do, their roster decisions have to be consistent with that. And
right.
to me, the Knicks have sent the message time and time again that they're trying to win and they're going to continue to reshape this roster over each off season or in season if they can until they shape it. Wow. I'm not sure what happened. Can you guys still see me? I think my lights
Yes,
went out.
you can still
Okay.
see it.
All right.
Yeah, you good. You
Yeah.
good.
Until they shape it into a championship contending roster. This is what the Knicks is planning to do. So if that's what you're planning to do, then absolutely. I personally feel like if you're trying to go into playoffs, you need a veteran point guard to back up Brunson. That's what I think.
Shout out
I
to Paris
don't have
Joker.
any problem with McBride's defense, but he's still learning the position,
Yeah.
right? And when you get into the defense, you're trying to win these games. When Brunson goes to the bench, you're relying on McBride or mostly quickly, and quickly to me, I just don't want him to have any on-ball point guard responsibilities at all. Just play off the ball, have somebody else set you up. When he's in a catch and shoot position and somebody passes it to him, I swear every time it looks like it just goes in.
Yeah.
But when he's herky jerky and dribbling and probing in and out, who knows? It might go in, it might not. So I'm all for having, if it's not going to be Rose, that's fine. Having a veteran two-way point guard. And I know there's some fans who think, oh, how are you going to bring in this veteran to take minutes away from the young guys? In my opinion, that ship has sailed. That taking minutes away from the young, that has sailed. The Knicks have set their path, and their path is we're trying to win right now.
Yeah.
We're trying to reshape this roster over time. And it's not about any young guy that's in this lineup, is because they're the best available player, not because we're trying to develop them for some future end. They're in there because they can help us right now. That's where the Knicks are. And so when you look at our second unit, let's be real. If the Knicks are really trying to make the playoffs, it's Sims, McBride, those are the guys that's on your second team. Are those the guys that are on your second team? If you're trying to make the playoffs, maybe, if depending on who else you have on that second team, maybe. But the way the second team is right now, I don't think is the Knicks need more. I'm gonna put it that way. The Knicks need more, and that may mean trading out some of these guys in the second unit. And when I say trade them out, they may still be on the team, but I mean trading their minutes out for somebody else that's going to give you better minutes. And that doesn't mean that they're not playing hard, and it doesn't mean that they're not talented, and it doesn't mean that they're not going to grow into good offensive players or total players. It just means right now, for what the Knicks are trying to do, I'm not sure they're ready.
Yeah, I agree with all that. So shout out to Paris. Paris brought up D Rose there. He said Tibbs is clowning him. Because I mean, it's absolutely, we do need the veteran point guard, but Rose is right there. Like, why are we not playing Rose? And then, like you mentioned with the IQ comes in there, and IQ is literally the point guard when he comes in. Deuce is in the corner, and IQ is standing there like his controller is running out of the batteries. Like, he's like glitching out there. He doesn't know what he's doing. So I mean, we just have the wrong formula out back there with the point guards. Like I would like to see Deuce be on ball, because he seems to make good decisions. He's not herky jerky kind of guy, whatever. He's more like a third string.
Right. He reminds me of Grimes in the sense that he's going to keep the ball moving.
Right.
He's going to keep the ball moving. He's going to come down. He's going to make quick decisions. He's going to keep the ball. He's going to keep the ball moving.
Yeah.
I don't know where McBride is right now in terms of his point guard skills, but we're not going to know because, like we said, quickly is on the ball.
So what do you think about trading quickly? I know you just mentioned it just now. Maybe not get him off the roster, but maybe get somebody else in here to push him further down. But
Right.
what do you think about IQ? Because I mean, he's not a point guard. He's a microwave guy. He's Vinny Johnson. He's that type of guy.
Listen, I will send him to Washington, where he's from, and get Kuzma to come off that bench and have Deuce run the second unit and work with it from like that.
You know
I
who
would
else?
get rid of.
You know who else Washington has staff? I think they have the other dude. What's his name? The other guy from he used to be on Denver.
Oh, Barton, Will Barton.
Yes, Will Barton.
Or
They got Will
Morris.
Barton over there. I don't know if he's hurt or what's going on because he's not playing over there. But if he's healthy and he's just not playing because they playing the young guys and stuff, I would like to squeeze Will Barton over here if we can.
Right.
Well, throw Cam in the trade too.
Absolutely.
Throw him in there too.
Yeah, we have some.
You know, and solidify our bench.
Right. As to answer your question about quickly, Knicks 100 a GM, he not no microwave, nothing. He needs to take 20 shots. And Jarrell also chimed in and he would like to see IQ play strictly the two. I'm okay with keeping quickly. I just want his role to change.
Yeah.
I just want him to be in that second unit with a point guard and he's playing off the ball. That's what I really want from from IQ. But if
Let me ask you this
Mhm.
quick question. So by him playing off ball, do you think he'll be more consistent scoring the ball than him having the ball in his hand?
I mean, listen, I hope so.
See,
I hope so.
that's the question I'm trying to get. It's like a
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, I hope so. Because the thing about it is he hijacks the offense when he brings it down. It's like we don't get into our sets till after he probes around a few times and takes like 8 seconds off the clock.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking if somebody else is bringing the ball up the court, boom, we're in our sets with 20, 19 seconds on the clock. We're in our sets. Now, when the ball comes to him, it's triple threat. You're going to shoot it, you're going to pass, you're going to drive. But you're right, Staffer. Guys like that, even if somebody else brings it down, once they pass it to him, they do the same thing. They can do the same thing. Part of it is just his style. That's him. He has to dribble a lot. And you're right. Does that change if you play him, if you take him out of the point guard position? Does that change once he does get the ball?
Yeah.
I hope so, but I don't know. I'm okay with them trading quickly. I'm okay with them trading anybody on this team. What are you getting back?
Right.
Does it make us a better team? That goes for Julius, that goes for Brunson, that goes for RJ. Does it make us a better team? All right, let's move to RJ. Let me read this super chat. Paris Doug, appreciate you. Tibbs is awful. His players make the same mistakes every game, year. No players ever develop on their weaknesses. Same issues year after year with him. I hear you. All right. In terms of, you wanted to say something?
Oh well, that Philly game. I'm trying to get because I hate mentioning guys as I'm old man, so I can't freaking. Oh, his name is Georges Niang. Remember he
Uh-huh.
in the post game he was saying I don't know why Tibbs was running drop coverage. I haven't seen that since college. So I mean we've been saying I feel like we've been saying that since he's been here. It's like he had the way that he defends the three. It just doesn't make any sense. And the other teams see it and they just feast on us day in and day out. Whenever we're not playing, especially this year when we were playing at our worst, man, we were getting cooked on the 3-point line. But it's not because we weren't necessarily defending it. It's just that the way that he has the coverage. I think IQ had a block. He was at the foul line facing the other guy way over in the middle of the foul line, and he had to run over to recover because the ball swung over, and he did get the block. But man, that is a lot of coverage that he got to do. He just fighting for his life to get there. So these guys, they're playing hard, but the scheme doesn't make any sense whatsoever on just guarding the three. He does a great job, stopping penetration at times, but just guarding that three, it just, I mean, it's embarrassing that Georgia said that. I was like, when he said that, I was like, look at this. I watched that a million
But
times.
Tibbs answered that though. He answered that in the in the press conference. And he basically said that wasn't the defense that they were in. But he said, the bottom line is when you have guys like that, you have to pick your poison. So you can guard. So they're double teaming or whatever they're doing with Harden, or you don't have to do that, with Harden. You could just leave him, one on one. So basically, we could have did it another way, but
Right.
they aired on the side of putting the attention on Harden to get the ball out of his hands, and Nang just made the shots. And I have to be honest, there have been times when I've said, why are we letting their best guy shoot?
My
Shoot a
God,
double
Steph.
team.
Yo,
Send it to the other guy. If they beat you, fine. You
You know,
know?
Steph, why were we double teaming Harden? They were doing a pick and roll with Harden and Embiid, and we were double teaming Harden so Embiid can get the ball. I'm like that was happening the whole first half because I missed most of the second because Christmas and stuff. But that first half I'm watching doing a watch along, I said it a few times like why the hell are we double teaming Harden so him to give it to Embiid? You got to stay down on both of them. What's the matter with you guys? You know what I'm saying? Let the if Harden is Harden, let him get 50. If Embiid is Embiid, let him get 50. Don't bail him out and give him the pass to the superstar. Don't let the superstar bail out and get a pass to the other superstar. Like how was that a good philosophy to try to beat the Philly?
Yeah.
Ah man,
I hear you. Yeah,
it's
I
just
hear
little
you.
things like that that just it drives me crazy because somebody is a novice. I'm not a professional basketball player. I don't coach and this, that, and the other. I'm just a fat guy that does does this podcast on his spare time. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I look at it every single night and I'm just like wondering, when are they gonna stop doing that? You know? When are they gonna stop doing that? I'm just wondering. Been watching it for 3 years. When are they gonna stop? Sheesh.
I hear you. Let's move on to RJ Barrett. I just want to talk a little bit about him as well. All the way to the left, that was his stats last season. Then we got the first 23 games where he's really struggled, and then the last 11 games where he's playing much better, shooting the ball much better. And these 11 games includes the 8-game winning streak and the 3-game losing streak.
Losing.
Right. So you look at him over the last 11 games, averaging 24 points, 6.4 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 46.5% from the field, 42.9% from three. Like that's almost sniper um, numbers. Free throw percentage is kind of going back down, regressing a bit, 73.2. But we can say that for the entire Knicks team actually. Um, Turnovers are up. Offensive rating is up. If you put stock into that, defensive rating is much better as well. And instead of being a negative 3.7 in net rating, he's a positive 9.7. So let's talk a little bit about RJ Barrett. You know, are you trusting that he's turned the corner, number one? And is this who you thought he would be coming out of training camp?
What do you think, Steph?
Um, I look. I never doubted the young man. It's just the beginning of the season. It just didn't look right. His shot wasn't right. He wasn't making good decisions. He was having tunnel vision. Going up against three people in the lane. You know, he just his mind just wasn't there. But I don't know what changed. You know, he's playing better now. His shots is falling now. Better from the 3-point shot. He still needs to be more finessed around the rim because he's still missing a lot of bunnies. You know, but I always say this: once the game comes to RJ, that's where he flourishes. Because when he tries to force the game to him, that's when he makes dumb decisions. He's trying to play 1 against 5.
Right.
He's not making, he's not doing none of those things. So when the game comes to him, that's when I think we get the best out of RJ. And that's what we are seeing right now. He's letting the game come to him. He's not letting the game dictate him. He's making the right decisions. He's picking and choosing when is his time to get a shot, make shots, play make, assist. He, most of the times on Mitch, he's the one that gets sometimes get Mitch more involved in his pick and roll, and give lobs to Mitch. So, when he does stuff like that, play make and have it scoring from the three, and his mid range is starting to come around. That's the RJ that we expected from from training camp. But as the season went along, he got better. I think a lot of pressure came off of him. When Grimes came into the lineup, so you don't really have to guard the best
Right.
player every night.
Right.
He gets to do his thing. So I think that had a factor into it also too. So I think he looks comfortable out there. I don't think he's visiting. I think this is sustainable. You know, but it's just he just can't be tunnel vision. He just can't be selfish. Because I think he had one play. What was it? Was it in the Toronto game or the Chicago game where he had the ball, and I think it was the Sumo. I think he tried to spin and the Sumo took the ball from him. So stuff like that. When he sees a double team, he need to pass it out quicker. And have better decisions. Sometimes you may have it rolling, but sometimes the best decisions is to pass ball, get your other teammates involved, and we could get an easy bucket because the defense is already the other opponent team is already seeing that you're destroying them. So once you join that double team, kick the ball out. So I like what I'm seeing from RJ in the past 11 games. As I said before, I don't think he's visiting. I think he could be sustainable. He just have to let the game come to him and don't force it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good point.
I'm with all that. Well, I got three. I got three points, man. One thing, that people, he's a slow starter. You know what I think? Somebody brought this up to at Christmas, man, saying that maybe he needs to just break in his shoes. You know what I'm saying? He just needed to get his shoes to get broken in. So now his shoes are broken in. So now he's more comfortable on the court. So now he could do his thing or whatever. His feet are not bothering him. Well, he gets in trouble when he starts creating his own shots. So that's what Stafford
Right.
was saying. As long as he plays within the in the flow of the offense, he
Right.
gets in trouble when he thinks he can drive and start creating and doing stuff. He can't.
Right.
So he needs to pass the ball. He needs to understand that I cannot create my own shot. But the flip side to that is there was a play. I believe this was in the game where he was scoring all those points. I think that was in Toronto, right? When he was scoring all the points. Was that Toronto or Chicago? I forgot which one it was, but he was scoring a lot of points. He was like 40 something. And then there was a point in the game where Tom Thibodeau called all four guys to the side. And it was just RJ standing there. Yeah, RJ scored 40 something points without an ISO play call for him. So now you wait to the end of the game where you was winning a game during a certain style, and now you send everybody to the other side and let RJ go one-on-one. What are you doing? That's Tom Thibodeau watching the game, thinking that that's the right thing to do. But on the flip side too, that Philly game, Tom Thibodeau ran. I think the first play he ran for RJ, he had Mitch Robinson send him a pick, and he went around the pick, beeline to the basket. That's what you're supposed to do. Give RJ opportunities, beeline to the basket. Let him see the floor. Let him see the basket. Let him see the passing lanes. That's how you take advantage of RJ. So I mean, we saw a lot of this in this 11 game streak here. All jokes aside and stuff like that. He's warmed up. He's same thing with Julius too. Julius is playing out of his mind. I'm quite sure you're gonna have stats for him too. But I mean, like just we have no superstars. We kind of need to play almost perfect at times, but just they have to understand what's in front of them. If you can't create, at least everybody should know that RJ can't create. So if you got a beeline, do your thing. But as soon as they give you that double team, man, pass that ball. Pass the ball, fam. We have guys that can make shots if you swing it. But that has to be within the philosophy of what we do.
Right. But I thought I mean, that's a good point you made. I thought he did that. Which game was that? Was that the Chicago game he had the 44?
Oh,
I
I can't
think so. Yeah.
Or was it
yeah.
Toronto?
I think it's the Chicago game.
The Chicago game.
Yeah,
I
it's the
mean,
Chicago game.
to your point, I mean, he had it going. So down the stretch, they put the ball in his hands because he had it going. But to your point, Ebru, he had it going, playing off of other guys. But to his credit, though, when they sent the double team, he did pass the ball. Like I didn't get the sense that he was forcing it when they sent the double team down
Well,
the stretch. Yes.
Well, just the Tibbs factor. You know, that game, he literally sent four guys to the other side and had RJ standing on by himself. That's not it. There, that's not the right situation. So it just reinforces RJ to get into those bad decisions. Because he's being reinforced by the coach to do it. Go ahead, take the guy. Go ahead, you do your thing. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the right tactic for RJ.
Right.
RJ would get 40, like I said, 40 without even calling an ISO play. He's just that type of player. You know what I'm saying. So I don't know. We just game planning wise and stuff like that. We just need to be more aware of who we are and how guys can get can contribute.
Yeah, yeah. Um, to the original question, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from RJ Barrett. And, he hasn't, Paris Doug, I'll get to your super chats in a minute. He hasn't, I don't see how much he's added to his game, but, you could take the next step by just getting better at what you already do and doing it at a higher level. And coming into the season, his free throw shooting, his finishing at the rim, his 3-point shooting, I think we all wanted that to be better. I think we wanted, at least for me, I wanted him to shoot better off the dribble, but okay, fine. You're not going to do that. The things that you already do, just do it at a higher level. And that's what we're seeing over this last 11 game stretch, right? Hitting the 3-pointer, 42.9%. That's really good.
Yeah.
Finishing at the rim, to your point, Eru, even when he misses, it's not like he's just going in there like, oh, is that the basket? Oh, wow, I'm so surprised. Boom, and just banged it off like he didn't know where he was going, or that somebody would be there to challenge the shot, not forcing it, playing off of those guys. I wonder if part of it is just him just accepting his role, so to speak, that he's not the initiator with Brunson and Randle on his team, that he has to play off of those two guys and just settling into that. And they look for him. Like he gets his shots,
Yeah.
and like you said, Ebro, I don't think he's forcing it. He's taking it within the flow of the game. I really love the way he's playing. On that catch and shoot, when he gets it, I just feel like it's going down.
Yeah.
I just feel like
Queen,
it.
he's the man on the second unit when
Yes,
they stagger everybody. So
yes,
he
yes.
getting his opportunity to be the man.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like exactly. On that second unit, he's definitely definitely the go-to guy.
But when
Now,
this guy IQ is out there in the second unit playing point guard, man, he's blind in both eyes. He has like no
yeah,
peripheral vision. RJ don't touch the ball. It's like he's the guy in the second unit now. RJ is the quote unquote go to guy now. So I mean, you're not even looking at him, not even trying to get him the balls. Like I don't know with this. I don't know. Go ahead.
yeah, but you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. So when you hear the rumors that they're trying to trade quickly, and everybody's like, why quickly? Even I said, like, why quickly? I think they see in terms of how they want to play, where does he fit?
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna just take him off the ball. And I don't think he's going to. I don't. That's just how he plays. So even if somebody else brings the ball up the court, I just don't see quickly's game changing. And I don't even know if that would be the best version of himself if he did that, just become more like a catch and shoot guy. I don't know. It depends on who we're able to get for him. But this is RJ's segment, but I know you brought it up because RJ just doesn't get. He can actually be better, I guess, is what you're saying, if IQ is not dominating.
Yeah, just look at it. Just look for him. He's the guy. He's the leading scorer in that group. Yeah, and you're not even looking at him. It's no
Right.
IQ is bugged out, man. He's a very frustrating player. Very frustrating player.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because he just has to dribble, dribble, dribble before he makes a shot, unless it's a catch a catch and shoot. Get to Paris Duggar.
Even a play
Trade,
for Sim too.
trade guys for guys to come fall under MSG pressure. Got you. We lose games because guys get too tired to play fast. Got you. Appreciate you, Paris Duggar. Thank you for the super chat. I actually don't have Randall's stats, but we can talk about him in the same vein, even without the even without his stats. How do you think he's playing compared to? Well, he's playing much better compared to last season. Let me just ask real simple. What difference have you seen in Julius Randle's game this entire season? And if you've seen anything different over these past 11 games, which includes the 8-game winning streak and the 2-game losing streak, 3 games, excuse me, losing streak. I wish it was 2.
I
I
mean,
mean,
guess that.
go ahead, you. Uh, I mean, Queen, I've been advocating for Randall from since day one, and I told y'all that I feel like he has learned his lesson and knows how to handle certain adversity when it comes to playing basketball. Um, so far in the season, he has committed to playing defense. I'm not saying he's an all-world best defender. I'm not saying that he doesn't miss defensive assignments, but his awareness has gotten much better on the defensive end. Um, I think is it I think I heard either him or I heard someone reported that by him switching now gives him a lot more room to be a better defender. Um, I think with the addition of Jalen Brunson on this team, um, kind of took some pressure off of him and some of the responsibility of carrying the team on his back.
Mm-hmm.
So that alleviates some of the pressure that he doesn't have to bring up the ball all the time, like how people was complaining all the time. You know, him being that main go-to guy all the time. Throw the ball down now. It could be shared. He's cutting more. He's running the floor. You know what I mean? He's just doing sometimes the small things that you want him to do to show that he's a leader. One of the games that everybody liked is when he dove on the ball to get that ball, that loose ball, and I think it was that Denver game, either the Denver game or the Utah. he made he made that defensive effort, and everybody, I think everybody started to believe in him a little bit, you know. But I always had had courage in him that he could handle the pressure because I always say this before, nobody wanted to come here, you know. Nobody wanted to come here. He took a chance from New Orleans coming here. Steve Mills signed him. He embraced the city. You know what I mean? He did, he tried what he had to do. He took us to the fourth seed. We had a bad season last year. He apologized in a previous, year. So this year he comes back, meditated, trying to be a leader, just trying to carry the team and to be the best Julius that he could be. Certain people, still think he's the best trade chip on the team. Want to get rid of him. But once you get rid of him, what do we get rid of him for? We trade him for just peanuts. So, Julius is our best player right now. He's doing his thing. You know, um, go out and vote for him to be an all-star. and Jalen Brunson too. So I mean, just go ahead and do your thing. Just stay out of the ref's face. Don't get no more technicals. You know what I mean? Just do what you've been doing, and show leadership. And show these fans that you care, because that what New York is like. We like when a person go out there and they work hard, they put on that hard hat, and they do the best that they could do, because that's all we ask for, is that you go out there and you try your best. So he's going out there trying his best. I know there ain't a lot of Randall supporters out there, but I'm one of them. I'm behind him, and I think these three guys could probably do something special. So let's see how the season goes.
With some reinforcements. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Eru?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's nice.
I'm right along the same line with staff, But I just wanted to bring up the whole Brunson factor. Brunson came in here. He has a bag. He has certain go-to moves that he does, certain things that he always does. That no matter what, he's going to that spot. He's going to do that spin, turnaround, jump shot. He's going to do it. He still does it. He still scores no matter who's in front of him. So just still looking at RJ. We was talking about RJ before. He's starting to get into those spots where he has a new move where he does a little spin move and then he does like a little floater shot. Like, I like it. You know what I'm saying? I like that. And the bring it back with Julius. Last year Julius was bringing the ball up the court and just battering ram right into three guys. Like, what the hell? But this year, like he's coming in there. I haven't seen him do that at all.
Right.
And now he has an office. Like he had that office in that first year in the bubble season where he was in the corner. He had that corner fadeaway. Thank God he's not doing that anymore because I never liked it. Now his office is kind of like the in the corner threes, top of the key threes, that type of thing. He's getting into his comfort spots, and then he has another move too. He has like two or three moves that he gets out sometimes in the lane where he gets like fadeaway jump shots
Right.
and that type of thing. So I mean, I'm just talking about the Brunson factor. I think add him to the roster. I think that this conversation is being had. Well, listen, man, you're more effective. This and work on this. I need you to be effective in a certain spot. So I think learning from Brunson and just being there, having those conversations, I think that's what's made Julius Randle. Because right now, Julius Randle, his stats are for the last since the 8-game winning streak, maybe a couple more games before that. I'm not good at math. That's what I'm saying. 14 games. 14 games. He was 26, 10, 4, and decent percentages all across the board there. So he's playing fantastic.
Right.
So it's just about him taking the thinking game out of it. Go to your spots and just keep going to your spots. Keep going to your spots. Stop trying to reinvent something. I think that's the evolution with that. Defensively and things that are nature, playing getting out on shooters and stuff like that. We just got to just deal with that because he's never going to be like on point with that. Never. He like Staff said, jumping on the balls and playing really good on ball defense. That's what he's gonna do. He's like a pit bull. He could be a pit bull at times, but asking him to get out there and defend 3-point shots, he ain't doing that. He's just not doing it. So, we got to take the good and bad with this guy, and then just try to as a team, because it's a team sport. So you got to use the rest of the roster to try to make up for guys' mistakes and stuff.
And you can find that, in most of the NBA. It's not all of the top players on a particular team are two-way players who
Right.
put out the same amount of energy on offense as they do on defense. But I will say that compared to the first 22 or 23 games, it's night and day.
Yeah.
Even his off-ball defense, it has definitely improved. And I think part of it, Staffer, as you were saying, is he's more comfortable switching than having to read on the pick and roll and do all this other stuff. So if he's switching, it's simple for him. He knows where he's supposed to be. And to his credit, he said, I'm better on switching because I believe that I can switch out on a quicker guy and be able to still guard them. And he can, you
Yeah.
know. So he's definitely better. For me, I like Julius Randle, but I always saw him for what he was. You know, um, I never saw him as a star of a team. I never saw him as well, I shouldn't say that. When he had that all NBA season, I thought, wow, if he's not a one, maybe he could be a two. I thought maybe he could be a two. and we just need one more player, and then kind of build the team out around whoever that star was in Randle. Since then, though, I just don't see him as a as a two. I just don't. But I absolutely love the way he's playing offensively right from the gate. You could tell that he changed his spots, to your point, Eru, where he's taking his shots. Right? That's right in the middle of the foul line. That's where I'm gonna get the ball. And I'm gonna face up and I'm gonna take it straight to the rim and lay it up, or I'm gonna give you the jab step and I'm gonna pull up. I'm not doing too much. And which was fine. Because he was just doing too much, spinning and turning and spinning and fading away. Quick, I'm taking you to the basket on the dribble, or I'm pulling up for the fadeaway, right? Or he's in the post, right? Or he's taking a three. That's four spots for Julius Randle. Very, very efficient. His decision making is better. His decision making is quicker. He always shared the ball. I never saw him as a selfish guy. He always was a willing passer. And I think having Brunson on his team, and he even said it in the beginning of the season, it takes pressure off of me. Everybody knows the ball is going to me. Now, let Brunson deal with that. So yeah, it's definitely helped. The only thing I'll say, to me, and it's real close, but I think Brunson is the best player on this team. And because for me, being the best player is beyond stats, and Brunson's stats are good as well. But in terms of leadership and decision making, I trust Brunson a little bit more than I trust Julius Randle. But that's not taking. But I'm
I
not
agree.
arguing with anybody
I
who
agree.
says Randle is the best. I'm not arguing. I mean, it could go either way. Um, um, but yeah, I just love the way he's playing, and I really believe in this team. I just believe in this team, and I believe in those three guys. I really do. You got to build out. You got to build this team out around them, but I really believe in them.
Yeah, it's
As
fun to
as
talk
much
basketball.
as much as I like Randall, in the last few minutes coming down to the game, I
Mhm.
want the ball in JB's hands. You know, Randall's my boy, but I'd rather have the ball in Jalen Brunson's hand to take us home. As I said, he's like number 4 or 5 in clutch points when it comes into the fourth quarter in the last 2 minutes. So definitely, I'm taking Jalen Brunson in that situation all the time, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. Sherwin,
I
I
wish
don't know if you're calling me a Randall hater. Steph, no Randall hater will think he's the best player on the team. I'm not really a Randall hater. And I don't, and you may not have been, talking about me. Um, but to me, the best player on the team, I need to be able to get that. We need a basket, and I need to be able to get it to you. And you're not gonna hit every shot. You're not gonna hit every shot, but I can go to you in those crucial moments of the game when we're trying to cling to a lead, or we're trying to, we're down and we're trying to cut into the opposing team's league, or we're trying to close out a game. And if you're asking me, we're trying to close out a game, you going to Brunson or you going to Randall? Now, Randall has been playing so much better, but for me personally, and I don't, there's no wrong answer here. I'm going with Brunson. Brunson knows where his spots is, and this is what you see from these star players. There's no trickery in what they're doing. It's not like you don't know what KD is going to do, or you don't know what Harden is going to do. These guys have their spots, and if you study them defensively, you know where their spots are. What makes them great is they know where their spots are. You know where their spots are. You have a whole game plan around, making it harder for them to get to their spots, and they still get to their spot and make the shot. That's what makes them who they are. And in my opinion, Brunson is in that direction. You
yeah.
could talk about his arm length, you could talk about his height, you could talk about all of this other stuff. In my opinion, that's Brunson. Ebro?
Yeah, this guy DeRozan for like the last 10 years, he's been walking to the foul line, doing the spin move, pulling up right there. He's been doing that for 10 years straight. People can't stop it, and he'll do that 15 times a game.
Right,
That's just the way it is. That's what star players do. There's no rhyme or reason to what they do.
right,
Harden in between the legs twice, step back, 3-point shot. It's gonna happen a million times throughout the game. You know,
right. Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, let's get to the next season, next game. But I just want to talk about where the Knicks are in the Eastern Conference. Sorry about that little gaff right there. But the Knicks are still in the sixth spot in the Eastern Conference. But if you notice, the lead has shrunk. At one point, it was a two-game lead over the seventh place team, which switches. Sometimes it's Atlanta, sometimes it's Miami, whatever. Um, then it went down to one game. Now the Knicks are clinging to a half game lead. To me, 6 through 12, those teams can finish anywhere by the time the season starts. The Knicks can finish in 6, the Knicks can finish 11 or 12 if the bottom falls out. If the bottom falls out. But I think I've seen enough of the Knicks to feel pretty confident that they'll be at least in the play-in, unless something drastic happens. That's how much confidence I have in them, and they very well can finish sixth. I know people, may not, agree with me, but the defense and the chemistry has to be on point. Those three guys, first of all, have to continue to play at a high level, or it's not happening.
Facts.
Your
yeah.
defense has to be really good. Right now, the Knicks are ninth in defense, and that chemistry, how they play together, has to continue to play be good as well. And you look at Toronto last season, that's what they had. They had the defense and the chemistry. Chemistry is so fickle though. Things happen, trades, injuries, whatever messes with your chemistry. You just don't have that. You're not driving, you're not clicking, and the next thing you know, boom, Toronto's back in 10th. I'm not saying they're going to stay there, though. Um, let's get to yeah. Go ahead.
Well, shout out to some of these teams too. You're talking about the Heat, the Raptors. I'm afraid of Pat Riley. Pat Riley's always keen on making some kind of move. So
Right.
any of these guys, say like the Pacers, Indiana, if somebody wants to make a trade and to add
Mhm.
to their roster, that could be the difference maker too. So a lot of people say, oh, why we traded for this guy? How's IQ going to play? Who's better? That type of stuff, man. But like we talk about reinforcements. If another team gets the reinforcements and we don't, then that might contribute to us dropping as well. So.
Mhm.
I just want us to have the best opportunity to be successful. But all things in remaining the same. I'm with you on the whole thing. Like we're between 6 and 12 is very close between them, and I'm happy with any of that. 6 to 10, I should say. I'm happy with any of that play in and that type of thing.
Right.
But yeah, man, I really believe in this group. I really want them to be successful, man. You know,
Yeah, no doubt. Quality Jumper says we are not going anywhere with this short rotation. It's not happening. But listen, everybody's talking about the short
great
rotation.
quality
I
jumper.
agree. Something needs to happen. Shout out to you, Quality Jumper. But we wasn't going nowhere before the shortened rotation. Think about where we were before we shortened that rotation. We were terrible. We were a mess, a hot mess.
Yeah.
So shortening up the rotation was needed at the time. Now, I do think it needs to be expanded a little bit, but you want an expanded rotation and losing, or you want a tight rotation and you win it? What do you want? You know, who are you opening up the rotation for? You open it up for Fournier, you open it up for Cam, you open it up for Rose, you're opening it up for, when we closed the rotation, the Knicks took off.
Right.
Unless you're saying, and this is kind of what I believe, that okay, we've kind of solidified ourselves right now. We might be able to put them back in now and and not revert back to who we were before. Um, to me, I feel like the answers that we need is not on this team. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just think the answers, depending on what you're trying to do, you know, um, Sherman said, depends on who you have in your rotation. Chicago had an 8-man rotation and they won 6 championships. Depends on who you have in your rotation, I guess. Um, yeah, I'm okay with opening up the rotation. I just feel like the Knicks need to upgrade. You got
Yeah.
those 3 players that's playing very well. You as an organization has decided we're not prioritizing development. We're not going the Detroit route. We're not going the OKC route. You decided that as an organization. Okay. What moves are you doing that are consistent with that choice?
Right.
Well, I mean, we ain't see it. The trading deadline is
Yeah,
still
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
still there. So we
yeah.
can't judge them yet.
No, no.
So
Okay. All right. And I think a lot of the Nick family is going to be upset, when those changes are made and these younger guys are either get traded out or moved down in the rotation.
look,
Or,
it's for the betterment.
out of
It's for
the
the
rotation.
betterment of the team. If it's for the betterment of the team and we winning, what is there to complain about?
Yeah.
Right.
What's a date to worry about? January 15th, because that's when Zach LaVine could be traded, January 15th. So I mean, it might not be the Knicks if we don't get Zach LaVine, but I mean, let's say if like a team like Indiana gets Zach LaVine, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like, oh, they're gonna be the spice of the East now. Whoa. But if the Knicks get him, it's like, oh, come on, what are the Knicks doing? That's crazy.
Right. Right. Shout out to JJ. We're not beating a team like Philly or Brooklyn in the playoffs. What is the end game? The end, and I hear this a lot from the Knicks fans. The end game is step by step, piece by piece. The end game is okay. So you get an eighth seed and you lose to, I don't know, a Philly or a Brooklyn. You retool in the off season and you come back step by step, piece by piece. This idea that you have a team and you incubate them and then they go from being out of the playoffs to boom being championship contenders. It just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
So you out of the playoffs, then the next thing you know, you in the I don't know, the 10th seed. You retool the team. Now you're in the 8th seed. You lose in the first round. You retool your team. And then maybe the next year or so you lose in the second round. You retool. That's the end game.
Yep.
To play these teams, to see where you are, to see what you need, to make changes to your team, and to take the next step. It's not, oh, well, we're not going to beat Philly anyway, so why are we even trying to play? No, you play the game.
Step by step, man. Sometimes I think these some of these fans just want us to the front office just snap their fingers and a whole bunch of stars just come to the Knicks and we just go to the championship and we just win rings dynasty. It don't happen like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it was like that, people would have been having genie in the bottles and we would have been winning. But it ain't like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? We gotta build from scratch. And I don't know what people want us to do, yo. I mean, there's no every single superstar right now is locked up. Every single one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Which star are we going to get if we was to get a star? Who is this grunter right now?
Right.
Not only that, these
They will
stars are
say.
making 40-something million dollars a year. These guys, 40 the stars. So I mean, we can't even afford them if we wanted to. They're making big time money.
Right.
And we don't know if the chemistry gonna fit.
Right.
We don't know if it's gonna fit because everything takes time for it to gel, and you know what I mean, and win. I mean, sometimes I don't understand these fans. It was like they just snap your fingers and there we go. Nah, you gotta build in any business you create, you gotta start from the ground up.
I was gonna make the comment. We're older. All the three of us, we're older. So we remember the old New York, right? The old New York wasn't as it wasn't nice out there. It was like violent, especially in Brooklyn and stuff like that, where we grew up at and stuff. So it was like what if we just stayed inside and waited for gentrification to happen? You know what I'm saying? That's a long time. How long are we supposed to be inside waiting for them to build the cafes and stuff like that? Oh, they built a cafe outside, and then now I can go back outside after 15 years. Like that's not the right mentality, right? The point I'm trying to say is that, like, even though times is rough on the outside, there's a lot of competition and stuff like that. How about let's get out there and see what we can do? I'm not afraid. Let's we have decent players on the roster. We right now we're winning. So what's the end game? Like, would you rather just give up, like you said, just give up everything, for the hope, or are we gonna put our lace up our Timberlands, you know what I'm saying, put a knife in our back pocket and hope for the best. You know what I'm
But
saying?
you know the funny thing? Some fans want that.
Right. You know.
Some fans want that. Some fans would rather us tear down every single thing and start from scratch every year.
Yeah. Oh, we're
Go to
5 years away. You know.
go to the lottery every year, every year, every year, every year. And
Well, we've been doing that.
some of these teams that get number one, some of these teams that get number one picks. Where are some of these teams right now? I'm just saying.
Right.
So we was in the finals in
We have
'99,
two or
right?
three number one picks.
Yeah. You know, we was in the finals in '99, right? So we trying to get to the finals again. I said '99. You know what I'm saying? That the 2023 is coming. So how many? I'm not good at math. Was it? Is that 24 years? You know, so we've been waiting. We've been doing everything. We have as many coaches. We had draft picks. We traded draft picks. We tried to get stars here. We tried it all. You know, we cut cap space to get LeBron and those guys. It didn't work. You know, like what did we tried to get you know, Kyrie and Durant here. Like we tried everything. You know what I'm saying? Like so people still want to keep doing that. We did it for 24 years. It's insane. So I mean, when are we gonna just get up and just say, listen, we're gonna go out there, we're just gonna make it happen for us right now. And then who want it, come get it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Um, JJ, when we say a win now team, in terms of our direction, we're not a win now team in the sense of being a championship contender like a Philly or Brooklyn, or Milwaukee. A win now team meaning if you're choosing a direction, instead of choosing the tear it down direction, the Knicks are choosing we're going to do our best to win and keep adding to this team over time. That's what we mean by when I say win now. Not that we're ready to win a championship. Absolutely not. But they have decided that they're going to stick this flag in the sand right here and build right here in terms of making the trades that need to be made. And I think, you know, when we do get to championship contention, I don't know if all of Brunson, Randall, and RJ will be here when
Word
we
up.
finally do get there. We may have to trade one or two of those guys to bring in a star. But like I've said multiple times, let's not act like the Knicks haven't been in the lottery. Let's not act like the Knicks were doing things to avoid the lottery. The Knicks have been in the lottery every single year, except what, 2013 and 2 years ago. We've been in the lottery, right? The issue has been we just haven't picked well.
Right.
You know, we haven't picked well. You pick well, you change the trajectory of your franchise. You can't tell me Milwaukee knew Giannis was going to be who he was now. They did not.
Yeah.
They just picked him. He blew up and changed the trajectory of their franchise. Golden State didn't know Steph Curry was going to be who he is now. I'm sure they thought he would be good. That's why they picked him. They didn't think he would be this, right? But he blew up and changed the trajectory of their franchise. That's what the Knicks need. They
And you
need
see the
they need a, and you can get that player anywhere. One more second step, and you can get that player anywhere. Look at the stars and superstars in this league. How many of them were drafted top 5?
Hey.
How many were drafted top 5? You can get those guys anywhere. The Knicks just have not been fortunate.
You know the Milwaukee Bucks drafted Jabari Parker. Remember how great he was supposed to be, the next Paul Pierce and this, that, and the other. Like the under these Knicks fans, you know the way that they think is like, oh, you're supposed to keep on developing them, keep them. So if they kept fooling around with Jabari Parker, they might not never have made it. You know, all the years later to get to the finals. You know, to get and win the championship. You know, they had him. You know, like what, 7 years ago, they were fooling around with him for all that time, trying to get him to pop. You know, they might have never made the correct moves over time. You know, to get the right guys there. Because outside of Giannis, in the championship season, there's nobody else that was drafted there. You know, it was just him. You have to keep the ball rolling. You know,
Right.
you have to like you said, draw the line in the sand. I love it. Draw a line in the sand. You know, and let's make a stand. Let's get the right guys here, and let's just keep this ball rolling. You know, maybe the Drew Holiday was definitely probably the next piece they needed to get
Right.
them over the hump, and then also take a weak East by storm, that type of thing. Very opportunistic. You know, you just at the right time,
Right.
you just pop at
Right.
the right time.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
let's
no
go.
doubt about it. Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I mean, and take advantage of it when things are going well. That's what Cleveland did. You know,
Yes.
things are going well. We get, we got whoop, what's his name is Donovan Mitchell is available. Let's throw our hat in the ring. Let's see what we do.
Yeah.
There was
And
another.
that's the thing about it, right? Ian? I wanted to say this, right? And Ewu was saying earlier that all three of us are old heads. You know what I mean? Let's take the chance and see what we could get to win a championship. Now, when you have young, I don't know how old these guys are, like CA Mafia and Almighty Finesse, that wants to break it down, go on the lottery and get a star. We don't have time to do that. We've been going through. Y'all probably have the patience to wait to develop these young stars and to put people around them to build a championship team. We've been waiting for a long time, bro. A long time. So for us to go break it down just to get us out to please some of the masses to get a star or to trade what we have, some of these Nick fans at our age, we don't want to see that. We want to win. We want to win now. We want to throw every single if we playing dice, we want to make sure we hit it.
Yeah.
Sevens. You understand what I'm saying? We want to get a star. We want to win now.
Yo, Stafford, these guys want to
We
step
want
on
to
the
win
dice in the
now,
middle of
bro.
the dice game and mess the dice game up. That's what they want to do. They want to step on the dice and mess the dice game up. That's what they want.
Right.
Nah,
So
but I can't do that. I can't. I've been suffering for a long time. Y'all got the patience to want to break everything down and get a star in this lottery, but I don't think the fans at our age wants that. And I think sometimes that's where the disparity comes in with the fans when it comes to people who want to tank and people who want to just see this team progress and put piece by piece to see where we could go and try and build a contender.
yeah, I,
But
I I mean, listen, for myself, I'm okay. If the Knicks was able to get a star in the draft and we build around, I mean, I'm okay. I'm exercising and eating right and whatever. I hope to, I hope to be around. But the point is, there's no guarantee. Like somebody said in the chat, you can have the worst record and pick fourth. There's no guarantees. But CAA Mafia, this is what I will say. Even if you have a young team, like I said, you're not going to just incubate and stay in the stables with that team and come out and now you're a championship contender. Even if you have a young team, there's going to come a time when they get swept in the first round. Like that's just part of it. You're not going to just go from, oh, we got a young team in the lottery and boom, we're championship contenders. No, you're gonna miss the play-in tournament. Then the next year you're gonna get in the play-in. Then you're gonna get the first round. You're gonna lose. No matter who's on your team, unless you make a big leap because you traded for a star somewhere in the middle. That's how it happens. Whether it's this team or young team, you're gonna get swept in the first round. It doesn't mean you don't compete. You take
Right.
your lumps, you go back to the drawing board, you figure out what you need so that the next year you can get into the second round. I mean, I don't
And
I
nothing's
don't
ever
get it.
guaranteed either, Steph. Right? Remember, we're like say we have age, right? So we're talking about the age stuff. Like,
Right,
remember when Seattle was supposed to win a championship and then they got bumped in the first round by Denver?
correct. I remember
You know,
that.
so I mean, nothing is guaranteed. Just because your team is stacked and favored to win the finals that year doesn't mean that you have to play the games. You have to play
You
the
have to
games.
play it. And look at the Philly fans. Philly, with the team that they have, they are super frustrated. I wish we could get into the rooms of some of these fans of the other teams. Some of them are calling the trade Embiid, that they don't think that he's going to be able to take them to a championship. Go into the Atlanta rooms. And, let's trade for Trey Young. They don't even want him on the team. A lot of the fans, they feel
Right.
like he's a overhyped 3-point shooter, right? And I don't think he's shooting above league average for his career at the three. I would have to check that. He's a poor defender. now that Murray is here, they're preferring Murray and want to ship him out. So anyway, Knicks 100 AGM, Cleveland going to regret that move trade in the long run. Listen, when you make trades, they may work out in the long run, they may not. But these are the front offices that's not afraid to get an at bat and to see what happens. And that's how the Miami franchise is. It may not work out, but because it doesn't work out, you don't do the move. No, we do this move. This gives us a 2-year window to see what we can do and maybe convince him to resign. If he doesn't, we took a swing at the bat, and we may have to pay for that 3 or 4 years down the line. But that's not going to stop us from swinging, right? Which is the very opposite of the Knicks. Oh, we don't want to give up the 2030 pick because if Donovan doesn't resign, we might not be able to rebuild the team. Instead of like, listen, we have very smart front office. We'll be able to figure it out. Miami take these swings all the time.
Their first championship. They went and got Shaq and all those guys, Antoine Walker and a bunch of
James
ragtag guys.
Posey, Jason Williams.
Gary Payton was on that roster too.
Gary Payton. Yeah.
There's no guarantee. I CAA Mafia, you're right. There are no guarantees.
They took that swing, won the championship, got into the lottery, traded the lottery picks away for cap and all this other stuff. Got LeBron James there, Bosh, and won a couple more championships. So I mean, that's how you gotta be there. You gotta be in there and fight, man. You gotta fight, make something happen. Not sit on your fingers waiting for something.
Right. You use with young talent. Not who's old on the team that's in our rotation. Brunson is 27. RJ is 24. Mitch is 25, and Julius is 28. So what are you talking? I just don't get the fan base. So the fans is acting like we got a roster with an average age of 35, and now we're trading for Dame and LeBron so that we can make this championship run with a 2-year window. Like, that's not what we're doing. Yeah. That's not what we're doing.
And the quote unquote young guys, Obi Toppin got 2 kids. Are you kidding me?
Right.
He's an old guy, man. He's an old soul. He got 2 kids, married and 2 kids.
Right. Where are we going with this roster? This particular roster, nowhere. This particular roster is not a championship contending roster. But guys, relax. Is Washington's a championship contender? Look at teams 6 through 12. Are any of those championship contending roster? No. So what are you saying? Because you're not a championship contending roster, you shouldn't play? Or do you feel like the roster you have, you're stuck with it and you can't retool? I mean, I just don't get it. This roster, Almighty Finesse, my guy, hung out at the draft party. Appreciate you. We're not going to the championship with this roster. No doubt about it. However, the roster is not locked. It's not locked. You can make changes to this roster over time, and it evolves into a championship team over the next few years. And that may even include trading Brunson, RJ, Randle. So all I'm saying, fam, is enjoy what we have. We're building it step by step, piece by piece. Don't get disheartened because right now we're not a championship contending team.
I don't know. Sometimes like you want blood.
In the Eastern Conference right now, maybe 4 or 5 in the Eastern Conference out of 15 teams.
Yeah.
We're in the process. Just like Milwaukee had to get there. You think Milwaukee just shot up and became championship contending, or did they have to build their team over time? Philly had to build their team over time. But the other point I wanted to make is there's different ways to build a team. It's not, you don't have to always build it through the draft. Right? Milwaukee has Giannis. Everybody else in their rotation may have been traded. I mean, may have been brought in either via trade or free agency. Yeah. So there's different ways to build a team. But anyway, let's get into next week's games. We're doing the Texas 3-step, I guess. We got Dallas on Tuesday, San Antonio on Thursday, Houston on Saturday. Dallas right now is 8-16. They're eighth in the Western Conference over their last 10, 5-5, but they won their last three, right? So they're hot, you know, going into that game. So they've won three. The Knicks have lost three. One of these streaks is going to continue, you know, and hopefully it's not theirs. Right? We played them this season and we lost. It was after that debacle in Madison Square Garden that the Knicks went on their eighth game win streak. Right now, the Dallas is eighth in offensive rating, 16th in defensive rating. We play San Antonio 10-22. They've lost two games. They're 14th in the conference, 28th in offense, 30th in defense. But I'm not, and I hope the Knicks are not taking these games lightly either, because on any given night, San Antonio can beat you. On any given night, Houston can beat you. And the Knicks should know that. Houston 9-23. They've lost their last five. We're going up against desperate teams. I don't know. Maybe they'll get a win or two before we play them. 15th in the in the Western Conference, 27th in offense, 28th in defense. So these teams offensively and defensively are not good teams, but we may be playing without Brunson, you know. So now who's your point guard now? IQ. You know, who's backing him up? McBride. You know, Brunson is a big part of this team. You know, you lose him, you know, hopefully, you know, we should be able to overcome against San Antonio and Houston, but you never know. The Knicks right now are 18-16, sixth in the Eastern Conference. We're ninth in both offensive and defensive rating, top 10. Any thoughts on these three games? Any predictions? Anything that stands out?
My prediction: we're going 3-0 on this road trip.
I agree with that. I'm looking for one. I want revenge against that Dallas team, man. I want some revenge. You know,
Yeah, we owe Dallas one.
yeah,
We owe Dallas. So I'm looking for Julius to have a big game in Dallas, and the rest of the two games, San Antonio is always going to be tough, but I think we're going to pull that out. And the Rockets, they're spicy. When I say spicy, they're young, they're athletic, they run up and down, but
yeah.
I think we could slow them down with our defense. So I think experience gonna win that game. So I'm looking to go 3-0 on this road trip, man. Anything less than that is unacceptable. I'm not taking 1-2. I'll take 2-1, but I need to go 3-0 on this trip, and let's get back to our winning ways.
Word up.
Houston smoked the Bulls tonight. Thank you, Quality Jumper. To my point, on any given night, any team can get can lose.
Yeah, man. The Rockets, they spicy, man. They spicy. They run up and down, man. They really athletic, and I think that's one of the teams that gave us a problem last year in the guard when they came to the guard. If I'm not mistaken, I think they beat us at home, and I think we went back to Houston and we won.
Right.
So
You
you
might
know,
be right.
we can't sleep on these teams, man. We can't sleep on them.
Right. Quality Jumper. Can we win one of these games? I mean, come on, guys. I mean, what have the Knicks done? You know, so they win 8 in a row. They lose 3. One to a team they should have that was better than them in Philly. Another one coming off of a back-to-back. And Chicago, a last second shot. You know how hard it is to beat a team three times in one season, and you're playing them within 10 games. You know, that's like a playoff series, you know, and you lose at the buzzer. And we're so down on the Knicks that you're looking at a San Antonio team that's 28th in offense, 30th in defense, a Houston team that's 27th in offense and 28th in defense, and you're gonna say, can we win even one of these games? Come on, let's not act like the Knicks are on a 15-game losing streak. Um, you know,
I
right
mean,
now. There's nothing. This 3-game losing streak has not changed my opinion on the Knicks whatsoever.
you
Yeah,
know, what I'm saying, people act like the sky is falling, man.
Like
I mean,
wow,
you know,
like wow.
Yeah, even through the 8-game winning streak, people were still complaining like, "Oh my god, the Knicks
It's
this and wait up, we won
crazy.
8 in a row. Like,
They
what's the
said
matter with
if
y'all?"
you could even win a game. That is crazy.
Wow. Now, I get it. Any given night, you can, a team can beat you. This is the NBA. That part I get.
Yeah.
But to look at these 3 games and say, wow, can the Knicks win even one game? Wow. Quality jumper is really down on the Knicks right now. Sherwin says the next 10 games are the easiest part of our season. Let's see if we can make
Because I think the beginning of the year we got Phoenix. After this road trip, we got Phoenix. We got a couple hard games coming up, man.
Well, we don't really have a really tough game until we see the Celtics. I mean, I mean, we could lose to any of these guys, and
no
the
doubt
Knicks have
about
shown that they can lose every single game if they don't come into play.
it.
But I
Right.
mean, that Boston game is the only one. That's January 26th. But we played Toronto a couple times. We played the Wizards a couple times.
Who we put on January the 3rd? Don't we play Phoenix at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, we played them next right after this road trip here. We played them at home on
Right.
January 2nd. Yeah, so I mean that game. Well, we owe them too. They beat us one time. We kind of owe them also. But I mean, it's gonna be a fun stretch of games, definitely, man. I don't know about easy stretch of the season, but it's gonna be a fun stretch, man. Hopefully, we're above 500 during this stretch. That'd be great for us.
Right. Edward Walker, exactly. I don't think anybody is sitting here saying that the Knicks are, a great team. However, there's always an opportunity to finish above your talent level, so to speak, if the defense is right and the chemistry is right. All right, we about to get out of here. Any last words?
Just peace and love to everybody out there in the world, in the chat. I hope y'all had a happy holiday with y'all family. Wish y'all a happy 2023. Y'all be careful on these streets. You know what I mean? Just be with your family, love your loved ones, kiss your loved ones, tell them that you love them because you could be here today and gone tomorrow. So I'm wishing everybody a happy new year and a prosperous new year, and wish y'all everything that y'all want. And Queen, same to you. Happy New Year. Wish you everything that you want. And coming up in 2023, same thing for you, Hero. And God bless y'all, man. And y'all stay up and be safe out there.
No doubt. That we co-signed that one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
like that. Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah. As I always say too, man. We got to stick together as Knicks fans. I think I saw something today on another show. They posted a clip where the guy was basically saying that we're just infighting. There's a lot of infighting in our fan base, which just doesn't make any sense. What right now the team is playing good, but guys are like, oh, I'm RJ fan, I'm Julius fan, I'm this guy, I'm this guy. It's kind of too much. Like we have to like the same thing. Like we just have to appreciate just what we're doing here. We're following the team and stuff. This is to get us away from whatever troubles we have in our lives and stuff. So let's not make the Knicks part of that trouble. The Knicks is something that when we get together, we enjoy our time. We enjoy the Knicks. We're talking objectively, positive, negative about the team, which is
Right.
good. But just making it into a negative thing, we got to get off of that as a fan base and just bring it back together where we're just a unit. Where we talk amongst each other, talk smack and stuff, which is cool, but just don't take it to the next level where now we're like sectioned off and we're gangbanging each other in our own fan base. I just don't like that, man. So we just gotta have a little bit more unity, and then add all the other stuff to the staff. The staff has said, to the equation, and then just keep it moving.
Yeah. We can disagree and not be disagreeable, right?
Right.
And you could not like a person's take. It doesn't mean you don't like the person. And I
Right.
think what happens a lot on Twitter, and I'm not even on Twitter a lot because sometimes it could just be too much. It becomes personal, because you like
Yes.
a particular guy and somebody else doesn't. What's wrong with you? Anybody who likes this guy must. I mean, whatever they said last year about Randall. Anybody who likes Randall must love being abused.
Yeah,
Or,
that's
or,
just
Yeah, or something like that. How could you be a fan of that? Like it's just real. It's just become real, personal. We can disagree and not be disagreeable. I cannot like your take, and that has nothing to do with how I feel about you as a person. And I think it's this intolerance that you see in the Nick community is just part of the world as well. Everybody got to think the same. If this person thinks different than me, then they are different than me. We can't be friends. I can't tolerate this person because they like orange and I like blue. Like, relax.
Yeah, and if somebody agrees with you, don't be like, "Oh yeah, see, look." Then not everybody doesn't agree with that. One person agrees with you, So don't double down on it and make it. Say, "I told you that." Well, you're the idiot. You're the one that's. It's just too much, man. It's definitely too much.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Listen, I thank you guys for coming through. Today is a holiday or observed holiday, so I appreciate you guys coming through. I appreciate the chat. Um, we're fans just like you. We just decided to, me and Ero at least decided to start a channel, but we're just fans. I started out in the chat just like you, the MBK chat, and finally got up the nerve to ask him, "Can I come on?" Come on the show. I'll never forget that. I appreciate y'all opinions, even if I disagree, and even if I disagree strongly. Please understand, it's not personal. That's just my personality. Sometimes I'm just come off strong, but it's never personal. Even if I disagree with your take rather strongly, I should say, it's not personal. Pudge Nice, CAA Mafia, JJ Knicks 100A, GM. I know I'm not gonna get to everybody. Jarrell, Jeffrey Clafter, Reppin, Old School, Edward Walker. I know I'm missing some people. Ally Wise,
Mighty
Almighty
finesse.
Finesse. I appreciate you. Quality Jumper, Sherwin. Um, I think I might have got to
It's not like
nickname
romper room. It's like romper room.
112.
Knicks Nation 112.
Yes, I appreciate you. Sean DaCosta, I appreciate you. Paul Butler. Yeah, and whoever else. We may not all agree, but we still family. That's how I feel about at least the MBK and those that are in these rooms. We may not agree with each other, but we still family, and I appreciate you guys. Um,
Fact.
if you haven't already, subscribe to Eru's channel, Die Hard Knicks podcast.
Hit the thumbs up. Click, 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 click.
Yeah. Hit the like button as well. Um, and he does a watch along, right? So every Nick game, if you want, you could turn down the podcaster, the broadcasters, I should say, and listen to Eru's commentary, right? So if you haven't already, subscribe to his channel. If you like the content, um there's more of it on my own channel. I started out at MBK doing the Queen's Court. It's a show that I love. It's a show that I want to continue to do. But I also have a channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to that channel as well. This week, the Knicks have a game tomorrow, Tuesday, and Thursday. So we'll be going live Friday at 9 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and I do my morning recap show as well. Pretty much for the most part, unless I'm traveling or it's a holiday after each Knick game. So Wednesday morning, I'll be back giving my takes on the Knicks Tuesday game against Dallas, which I hope is a win. Appreciate you, fam. Happy Kwanzaa. I know it's past. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays. I really do appreciate you. One.